Hello guys, what's going on? Welcome to a random map game on Arabia here between Spring and Bleys. Two quite well-known players actually, very upstanding community members I would say. And yeah, I chose this game because it was a Japanese war, which is something that you don't see very often. But we can probably make very good assumptions about what we can most likely expect to see in this game. But either way, we've got down to the sort of west of the map, sort of southwest of the map in green. We've got Mr. Spring, and up to the very north of the map in blue is Bleys. Off to a little bit of a shaky start, it seems. Unable to find his sheep straight away there, as we see Spring already quite nicely under his TC and finishing up that first sheep already. Obviously, efficiency here going to make all the difference. But yeah, this is obviously Arabia Japanese war, so hopefully we're going to see something interesting here. Now, I did see beforehand that the length of this game wasn't particularly long, so it could be reasonably well, one-sided, which I kind of hope it isn't the case, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. So, yeah, Japan, quite an interesting civilization. Certainly, a good infantry civilization. That is what they are listed as, and also reasonable archers as well. So it's worth noting that. And if we don't see a drush here, I imagine we will probably see archer aggression in the feudal age, but dark age rushing very viable for the Japanese and something that we could most likely see in this situation, especially from Spring here. Bleys' map, it does look quite open actually. His trees, they're not the best. He's had to put a lumber camp back here on this little lake, which is never ideal. Obviously, if you've got a solid tree line, that's nice. If it's on a lake, it's not so. And the front of his base is extremely open. He's going to have a pretty tough time walling this up, actually. And, he might end up building buildings out here, but it is such a long way from his TC. It's almost in the center of the map. And I kind of think that Bleys certainly going to have a bit of a tough time if a drush comes in, or some just really fast aggression. And I kind of think Spring would be very well to do that. He has a much better map in this position. Sure, he has got front gold, but if you have a look, all of these golds are in the same place actually, which is a really important thing for him. Obviously, if you lose one gold, it's not the end of the world usually, because you can just go and get a gold at the back somewhere else. In this situation, Spring's kind of actually got the short straw, because all of this is in one area, and one tower from Bleys could probably cover the entire lot of it. So I think Spring going to want to play really aggressively here, and certainly go with a drush, that is for sure. He's sending over a fourth villager to the wood just there, and that could be an indication that a drush is going to come up in the near future. Usually, obviously, 4 villagers on wood is a sign of a drush. 3 villagers, it's not going to happen usually, but who knows? Anything could happen at the end of the day. In fact, he has got 5 villagers on wood. Didn't notice this one here. So as I was saying, yeah, really important that he protects this gold at the front. It's kind of a really nasty position for him, actually. Not as nasty, I'd say, as Bleys' map, but even so, it's not ideal. But he can wall up very easily here. He's got a very big cliff on this right-hand side, so, a little bit of wall here, and he's got this pretty much locked down. The front of his map is a little more open, but expected in Arabia. It's just certainly not arena. And a little bit of walling from here, perhaps, or, just a little bit of walling across the front would be more than sufficient for Spring. So we're nearly at the 6-minute mark, and looks like Bleys is going to put a barracks down on the front here. He has got another board to take, which he's going to take with this villager, so this is indication of a barracks indeed. Going to put that down, and he is building right across the front here, and I think that's a great idea for him. Obviously, blocking off the front of his base, going to give him some visibility and a little bit more time to react to any attacks that may be incoming. Quite early on that barracks as well. A lot of the time you don't see players putting up that barracks until 6 minutes 30, but Bleys is already about 70% complete. So we're going to be getting a nice early drush here. Same for Spring though. He's also getting his barracks up, though it is a few seconds behind. It's not really such a big deal for him, as he will have plenty of time to make those militia before any attacks or anything like that come in. So Spring's looking reasonable here. Bleys certainly looking reasonable as well, but I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see if Bleys goes out for the aggression here, or whether he just builds the militia and sort of sits back, waits for Spring to push into him. Let's keep an eye on their scouting though, because their scout positions here are going to be incredibly important. Obviously, you need that scout to be with your militia, otherwise it's kind of, you know, one-sided. If the scout's there and your opponent's scout isn't, you're going to get a lot more damage output. You've got an extra 45 hit points in the mix as well, so having your scout in the militia fight, really important thing to actually have there. Bleys as well, going to take these deer on the front, certainly a good idea. He is going to get a lot of extra food from that, and quick, fast gathering food as well. Spring's deer, not in a good position actually. On the other side of this lake, no chance he's going to take them without a mill, and he's going to have a tough time luring them in with his scout as well if he wanted to. But his scout should be used for the militia war anyway. Both of them pretty clued up on what their opponent's doing. I think Bleys is going to assume that Spring is building militia now, but he is pushing out. He is going to take his militia across the map, and Spring still with those militia inside of his barracks, but he does have 3 there. He is built up very close to his TC, and as I say, it's going to be fairly easy for him to defend his eco here, I feel. But Bleys scouting ahead with this scout cavalry, and he's going to check these gold piles, see if any gold has been taken. Indeed, you can see 790 there, so that means there is a drush from Spring, and even though Bleys hasn't scouted the barracks right now, he should see that there's a drush as soon as he sees that gold mine, if not the barracks anyway. So he's coming in looking for that wood line there, and he has got a nice hill advantage here as well. So attacking downhill, of course, going to give him an extra attack damage, and for Spring, going to give him a defensive debuff, I suppose. But actually, Bleys pretty bad positioning there, giving up that hill straight away, and Spring going to add in some extra militia by the looks of things, as he adds in a mining camp there, but he is temporarily housed, so a little bit nasty for him. You really don't want to be getting housed, but then again, he's going up to the feudal age anyway. He's not building any units. He's absolutely fine. Bleys going to retreat then, and it doesn't look like he's going to build more militia actually. Sprig just sending those 3-4 gold miners over, and he'll probably transition into archers soon after he reaches the feudal age, once he actually clicks up. Probably the same for Bleys as well. We can see him adding those villagers over to the gold now. But Bleys does have one extra villager on, well, extra villager out, one extra. And that's going to obviously give him a little bit of a boost to his eco, but not something that's so significant. Bleys, though, going to come in here. Is he going to get anything at all? Well, it doesn't look likely. One hit, first hit, going down for Spring on that militia there. Down to 35 health, but, you know, Bleys in this position, he's just looking to disrupt, not really kill, but he's going to have a tough time doing that. Obviously, Spring can just sit on his hill here and just be, you know, happy to sit there all day long. Absolutely nothing that Bleys is going to do, but he is coming forward with 3 villagers, so we could perhaps see a tower here. And obviously, with his vision, he can see all of this gold. He knows that this is such a crucial part of the map for Spring, and coming forwards with 3 villagers, we'll probably see a tower going down to cover this gold, and maybe even a forward archery range. In fact, if he does that, that would be really cool, but Bleys adding in some extra militia for good measure as well. We might see the man-at-arms upgrade here, and you know, that could be really devastating. Japanese do have pretty decent infantry, and they will do quite a lot of damage to villagers if he actually gets the man-at-arms upgrade, so we'll keep an eye on that. Yep, there it is straight away. 3 villagers forward with an archery range as well, a second archery range going down, and I like this play from Bleys here. I like this a lot. It's risky, it's ballsy. Obviously building forwards is always a risk, but it might just pay off. Let's see if he can make it work. If he can deny Spring any gold, then Spring is not going to be able to make many archers. And archers are the natural counter to those militia. So this is going to be pretty close, but pretty clutch, I feel. If it doesn't pay off for Bleys, it could be pretty bad news, but he's got really, really good timing on this. Spring is not going to have an archer out by the time this attack comes in, and Bleys now moving in at quite a fast pace, going to take out this tower pretty quickly, it seems. There's nothing that Spring's going to do to stop that, and may even get a few villagers as well. So really nice play by Bleys, pushing him forwards, and the tower behind as well, equidistant to all of these gold mining camps. Bleys is going to do huge damage here. He may get a villager or 2. There's one going down straight away. But look at the disruption to this gold. It's buying him time. It doesn't even matter now if these man-at-arms die. He's already done the damage. And this tower will prevent Spring from taking gold at all. Spring, a huge risk on his half. Fast castling. I don't know what he's thinking here. Fast castle is so risky. And Bleys is in the perfect situation as he gets pushed back from this area. The tower goes up. He will, of course, want to palisade around the base of that, but I think Spring making a huge mistake going for a fast castle in this situation. It's so risky whenever you fast castle on an open map, but especially when you're not walled. Spring here is not walled, he's got forward gold, it's in a terrible position, and yet he's continuing to fast castle. However, you know, he's on 40% up now, he could still bring it back, but Bleys looks like he's going to keep adding in those towers, and without any gold, it doesn't matter if you're in the castle age or not, you're not going to be able to make any units that can actually counter this. You know, Spring now just forced on making skirmishers. If I was in his position at this stage, I'd perhaps cancel that upgrade. I'd just outright cancel the upgrade and start pumping out some archers to counter this, perhaps even get a third archery range up. He needs it, as he is on a massive, massive defensive here. So, Spring kind of flailing around, losing a couple of villages as well, as I was saying. This man-at-arms really devastating, taking huge chunks out of these villagers' health. And if we have a quick look at the little scoreboard down here, we can see that the villagers are well in favour of Bleys at this stage. 34 villagers for him, 21 for Spring at this moment in time. So this attack from Bleys is extremely good, and Spring now about to hit the castle age with absolutely nothing to really show for it. He is not going to get that crossbow upgrade. He can't afford it. He can't take gold, and he's kind of forced back into the corner of his base. So really, really looking bad for him, and I don't see how he is really going to pull it back. But you never know. If there is a will, there is a way. And he's only 100 score behind. He could still do something. Skirmishers, of course, not going to be so great against those men-at-arms there. But Bleys now coming around on the right-hand side, going to disrupt Spring even further. And it doesn't even matter, really, if he doesn't kill any villagers here. If they're inside the TC, they're not gathering. And Spring, he needs that gold. There's nothing he can do, though, in this position to take it. All of these gold mines are covered. He needs to get a tower up of his own if he wants to stop this, and it's not going to happen. There's no way he's going to be able to take this tower out in this position here. Archers behind it, man-at-arms as well. He's probably going to lose another villager. But Spring massing up these skirms, looking to take whatever units out he can. But, you know, so many villagers in the mix here. They are going to get cut down extremely quickly. A second tower from Bleys for good measure. Let's see if he can push this back. He has got the tower, 2 man-at-arms. It's not a great deal. In fact, that man-at-arms is going to get taken down pretty quickly. But even so, 2 villagers down for Spring once again. And just look at that villager count. Look at that, 39 to 23. Bleys is storming on ahead. And he doesn't even need to go castle in this position. Spring only making skirmishes at the moment. It doesn't really matter if Bleys is castle or not, because Spring is still fielding a feudal army. He doesn't have +2. He literally only just got fletching, and there we go. So this tower probably going to go down now, but at a big cost. At what cost? A big cost to Spring, because Spring's going to lose a few villagers. He's also gonna have to contest with the second tower, which is going up right next to the first, and with so many villagers going down, his economy is just falling so far behind. Another tower goes up, and it's like cut off the head of the snake, and another one appears. What's it? Medusa. That's the one. It's like Medusa. Just continually putting those towers up, and suiciding so many villagers to take them down. I just don't see how Spring is going to be able to, you know, get back into this after this many villagers have been lost. There's just no chance at all. We're looking 18 to 41, I think. Oh no, I thought I heard a GG there, like a little message chat in the sound. Yeah, the sound of the message chat there. But obviously not. No GG just yet. Spring will repel this. But as I say, losing so many villagers in the process. He has got a load of scams here. But Bleys, back at home, pretty walled up actually, quite comfortably sitting back in his base. He's done the damage he needs to do. And you know, as I say, if this tower goes down, it doesn't even matter. But he's going to try and keep it up anyway. Going to be putting down these stone walls. Going to get speared in the face by those skirmishers. Just doing what damage he can. But the damage, as I say, is already done. Bleys off to a fantastic start in this game. He's got the gold he needs to go up to feudal. He's also got almost got the food. Plenty of farms down here. Untouched economy the entire game. And he will probably go up to castle in just a moment's time. They're probably going to lose these 2 villagers at the front here, but keeping them in that tower for good measure. Not really going to do much attacking that archery range though. And Bleys at the moment not even adding in any archers, though he could be adding some archers in. There's always the possibility that Spring could come forwards here and palisade wall these archery ranges up. But either way, he could send a counter-attack out across the map, whatever happens. Bleys is open on the right-hand side, so skirmishers back here, with that many skirmishers out, could do quite a decent amount of damage. And Spring really at this stage needs to get that villager count a lot closer. We can see Bleys at the moment has twice as many villagers. And he is 25% up, 20% up to the Castle Age. So once that Castle Age upgrade is done, Bleys just going to add in some knights by the looks of things here with that stable. He could also add crossbow in, but we could already see that Spring has a lot of skirms. So actually to go with crossbow, probably not such a good idea, but 2 or 3 knights, and probably even 1 knight, will absolutely cut this army down. And obviously that's all that Spring has at the moment here. He's regained, fortunately for him, control of this gold, and maybe he'll be starting to actually add in some gold units. Perhaps we'll see a few crossbows coming out. We can see the creation of archers already, but as I say, still unable to actually afford any Castle Age units or any Castle Age upgrades. Also, this forward villager really going to catch him off guard, I feel. Tower going up for Bleys on his main gold here. And he's got plenty of gold in the bank. Plenty of food as well. So night production not going to be a problem for him. And, you know, with Spring's army away from home at the moment, these stables and knights coming out from there, going to be pretty nasty for him. Going to be very nasty for him indeed. Spring moving out with a couple of villagers though. It looks like he's going to wall these buildings up. And there we go, those palisades right there. But I don't know. No, he hasn't. He hasn't seen these stables. So, Bleys up to the Castle Age now. Night's going to come out. And Spring has absolutely no idea that they're there. Bleys, on the other hand, can see just fine. He's got full vision. He knows what's up. And he knows that if he just sends those knights into this wood line, it's pretty much gonna be GG. So knights coming out, gonna deal with this these few archers. Spring probably wondering where the hell they came from, and there's the GG from him. It was pretty much over after he lost so many villagers there at the start. But he did good to, well, he did well to repel Bleys forward. He did a very good job of that indeed, and maybe a little bit slow to wall these archery ranges up, and unfortunately not scouting these stables as well. But aside from that, you know, he did a good job of defending, considering he had no gold units, really massing up those skirms there. But I still feel like if he cancelled that upgrade at the town centre, he would have been able to salvage a bit of gold, he would have been able to get a few archers out, he would have maybe been able to push it back a little bit more effectively, but who knows. Anyway, we're going to come out, do another game